The Philosophical Machines, from Turing's logic to tomorrow's interactive intelligence. Picture this, it's 2025, and we're witnessing something unprecedented. While tech giants pour billions into ever larger models, a quiet revolution is unfolding. Models are learning to think, spending minutes processing a single question, generating pages of internal reasoning we never see. But here's the twist. This breakthrough might prove that everything we thought we knew about machine intelligence was wrong. Not because the machines aren't getting smarter, but because our very definitions of intelligence, understanding, and consciousness were flawed from the beginning. Welcome to the philosophical paradox at the heart of modern AI. In 1980, philosopher John Searle proposed a thought experiment that still haunts AI researchers today, the Chinese room. A person sits in a room with a rulebook, manipulating Chinese symbols without understanding their meaning, yet appearing fluent to outside observers. From the outside, it looks like understanding. The person composes sentences. From the inside, it's only pattern matching of symbols by the rulebook in a language he doesn't know. Searle's point? Syntax isn't semantics. Computation isn't understanding. Fast forward to 2024. OpenAI releases o1, a model that seemingly thinks through problems step by step. DeepSeek's recent breakthrough in reasoning efficiency has some declaring victory over the computational limits we thought were fundamental. But others see vindication of Searle's argument, more sophisticated symbol manipulation, still no genuine comprehension. The question isn't whether these systems are intelligent, it's whether intelligence, as we've defined it, is even the right goal. The mathematical foundations we forgot. To understand today's debates, we must return to 1936, when Alan Turing wasn't thinking about chatbots. He was solving David Hilbert's Entscheidungs problem, whether there exists an algorithm to determine the truth of any mathematical statement. Turing's answer was profound. He proved that computation itself has fundamental limits. The halting problem determining whether a program will finish running is undecidable. This wasn't just a technical curiosity, it revealed that even perfect logical systems contain irreducible uncertainty. When Turing proposed his famous test in 1950, he wasn't suggesting a benchmark for intelligence. He was offering a pragmatic workaround for a philosophically intractable question. Can machines think? Can machines do what we, as thinking entities, can do? A shift from ontology to epistemology that most modern AI researchers have forgotten. This mathematical foundation matters because it reveals why our current AGI definitions are so problematic. We're asking machines to solve problems that may be formally undecidable, while judging their success by criteria we can't even define consistently. The definition problem. Consider the current landscape of AGI definitions. Google DeepMind proposes 5 performance levels: emerging, competent, expert, virtuoso, and superhuman. OpenAI's corporate definition focuses on economic impact systems capable of generating $50 billion in profit. Big companies keep redefining AGI, but their true expectations remain unclear. What we're really seeking is a superintelligence that understands the world as humans do. Steve Wozniak suggests a coffee-making test. Can a machine navigate an unfamiliar kitchen and brew coffee? Each definition captures something important, yet each reveals the anthropocentric trap we've fallen into. As Matthew Landers argues in his recent analysis, the central challenge in AGI research is not computational, but definitional. We're using human intelligence as both target and benchmark, collapsing the distinction between what AI is and what it ought to be. But perhaps this definitional confusion isn't a bug, it's a feature. It reflects deeper questions about the nature of intelligence itself, that philosophers and cognitive scientists are still debating with. The scaling wall and its implications. It leads us to the most significant phenomenon of 2024, the noticeable plateau in traditional scaling laws. For years, AI progress followed a simple formula: more parameters, more data, more compute equals better performance. But recent reports suggest this relationship is breaking down. Released by OpenAI, large language model Orion reportedly underperforms expectations. Google's Gemini updates fall short of internal goals. The industry is acknowledging what scientists have long suspected. It is not possible to simply scale up to superintelligence. Enter test-time compute, the approach powering o1 and its successors. Instead of making models larger, give them time to think. This represents a fundamental shift from System 1 thinking, fast, intuitive, to System 2 thinking, slow, deliberate. But what is philosophically interesting, test-time reasoning might actually strengthen Searle's Chinese room argument. Thinking models generate extensive internal monologues, chains of reasoning that look remarkably human-like. Yet they remain, at their core, sophisticated pattern-matching systems following statistical rules. The Chinese room paradox. Imagine you're locked in a windowless room. Through a slot in the door, you receive sheets covered with Chinese characters you can't read. There is a rule book next to you. It is so extensive that it fills up the walls. When you see this shape, copy that shape. When you see this pair, output that twain. You shuffle symbols all day and pass your answers back. The native speakers outside are convinced there is a fluent Chinese thinker inside. Now pause. Does anyone in that room actually understand Chinese? Philosopher John Searle says no. The person, the book, and even the whole room possess syntax only, formal symbol juggling with zero grasp of semantics, the lived meanings the symbols stand for. And if a human following a program can't acquire understanding, he argues, neither can a silicon computer running code, no matter how convincing the conversation. Searle's target is what he calls strong AI, the claim that the right program would literally be a mind. Critics fire back with replies. Systems reply, perhaps the entire room is what understands. Robot reply, give the computer eyes, ears, and a body so symbols hook into the world. Brain simulator reply, imitate neuronal causality, not just rules. Yet even today, large language models still trade in patterns of symbols. Do their eloquent outputs show real understanding, or an ever bigger Chinese room with higher bandwidth? That unresolved tension sits at the heart of modern AI. Can mountains of syntax ever climb to meaning, or must semantics be rooted in biology? The information revolution continues. To understand where we're heading, we need César Hidalgo's framework for information growth. Hidalgo, a physicist at MIT, traces the evolution of human information processing through 5 revolutionary transitions: speech, writing, printing, the internet, and now generative AI. Each transition didn't just increase information quantity, it fundamentally altered how knowledge accumulates and spreads through society. Hidalgo introduces the concept of a person byte, the maximum amount of productive knowledge one person can hold. When problems exceed this limit, we need networks and collaboration. Here's the insight. Generative AI isn't just another productivity tool. It's creating what Hidalgo calls arbitrary projections of humanity's digital footprint, that is personalized knowledge synthesis. However, this novel form of synthesis introduces critical vulnerabilities when we go into self-learning and self-developing models. A prominent risk is model collapse. When AI systems train on their own outputs, they can lose diversity and degrade over time, a digital equivalent of inbreeding. The solution isn't to avoid synthetic data, but to maintain diversity and careful curation. Augmentation versus replacement. This returns us to a vision from 1962 that's more relevant than ever. Douglas Engelbart, inventor of the computer mouse, proposed a radically different approach to artificial intelligence. Rather than replacing human intelligence, he envisioned augmenting human intellect, using machines to amplify our cognitive capabilities. Engelbart's framework wasn't just about better tools. It was about coevolution between humans and machines. He saw computers as partners in intellectual work, extending our ability to handle complexity while preserving human agency and creativity. Recent research validates Engelbart's vision. Studies show that augmented intelligence approaches, where AI supports rather than replaces human decision-making, consistently outperform pure automation. The economic implications follow Jevons paradox. As AI becomes more efficient, we don't necessarily eliminate human labor. We often increase demand for human-AI collaboration. Consider programming. Despite decades of automation, we have more programmers today than ever. Why? Because better tools enable us to tackle more ambitious problems, creating new roles and industries. The interactive future. This brings us to the next phase, interactive AI. Moving beyond generative models that simply respond to queries, we're developing agents that can plan, reason, and act across multiple steps. These systems combine world models, internal representations of how environments work with multi-agent coordination. They can simulate conversations between specialized agents, performs tasks, delegate work, adapt strategies based on changing circumstances. But the most sophisticated development may be neuro-symbolic integration, systems that combine neural pattern recognition with symbolic reasoning. These hybrid architectures are capable of accomplishing what any single approach cannot. Learning from data while maintaining logical consistency. It's a promising 47% improvement in complex problem solving, 89% success rate in transfer learning, and critically 78% improvement in interpretability compared to black box neural networks. The philosophical machines. So, where does this leave us? We're not building conscious machines. Consciousness may not even be the right goal. Instead, we're creating what we might call philosophical machines, systems that force us to confront fundamental questions about intelligence, understanding, and the nature of mind itself. The Chinese room may never be definitively answered, but perhaps that's the point. In wrestling with these questions, we're not just building better AI, we're gaining deeper insights into what makes us human. The future won't be human versus machine. It will be humans and machines thinking together, each contributing what they do best to challenges that neither could solve alone. That's not just the future of AI, it's the future of intelligence itself. Thanks for exploring with me. For now, Captain Nav signing off, but the universe? It's just getting started. If you liked this journey, please subscribe and ring the bell. Discover more exciting science stories right here. Adventure awaits. Don't miss it.